The Jewish people are at a low point. And now a new generation has an opportunity to turn a new tide. And in Parshat Chukat, we see some changes. Vayomru chatanu, they recognized their sin, they confessed, and a special snake was erected. But now with this sin, that's the end. That's the last straw. There will be no more forgiveness. No, Moshe can't go up onto the mountain. It could be 40 days or 120 days. Nothing will be able to stop this plague. Moshe does not have it in his ability to stop this plague. The Jewish people could be utterly destroyed. The Reinu Bachye makes it very clear. He says, when the Torah says, "V'lo chiliti et bnei Yisrael b'kinati," that I did not destroy the Jewish people with my anger, he says, "Ilmalei kain." Rabbeinu Bachye says, if not for Pinchas' act, hayu kalim, they would have been destroyed. V'im kain, and therefore, Pinchas garam Yisrael orech yamim u'shnot chayim. Pinchas was the one who caused the Jewish people longevity of days. Me'otozman ad sof ha'olam. From that moment, forevermore. There's no measure for what Eliyahu could get, for what this Pinchas, who became Eliyahu, what he had done for us. And therefore, he says, midah k'neged midah. It was proper gift in response to his great act, that Pinchas would never die. He'd live forever and ever, till the days of redemption, when he'll bring the good news of the redemption. He'll be Eliyahu Hanavi. If we ask, what is so significant about Pinchas and what he did? The key word is found in last week's Parsha. Here there was this terrible problem. Here these two individuals dared to commit fornication right in front of Moshe and Aharon and all the Jewish people. And what did he do? Vayakal mitoch ha'edah. Pinchas arose from the people. Rashi's right. He had no status. He wasn't even a Kohen. He was just a kid. And he stood up from among the people, representing the people. And he did something. If we understand the book of Bamidbar and the significance of the individual's participation in leadership, we understand that this is a very significant moment. What do I mean? The very beginning of Bamidbar, God turns to Moshe and he says, look, count the Jewish people from 20 years and older. V'itchem yiyu ish ish lamateh. With you, Moshe, should be one person from every tribe. Every tribe will have its representation. This will not be an autocratic leadership from the top, Moshe Rabbeinu, and then 600,000 men. No. This will be a nation which will have a leadership, each tribe with their own leader. Each of the 12 tribes, their own leader. Itchem yiyu, with you, Moshe. You will have leaders with you. You won't be alone. What happened? After emphasizing the importance of these leaders over and over again, ad nauseum, we know the names of these leaders. Who is the leader for Yosef, for Ephraim, for Yisachar, Netanel ben Suar, Avidan ben Gidoni, Achiezer ben Amishadai? Over and over again, it's emphasized that these are the leaders, these are their names, this is the flag they stood on. These leaders are no insignificant minor characters in the Torah. These were to be the leaders with Moshe, standing together. A leadership of an entire 12 tribes with Moshe. What happens in the book of Bamidbar? That leadership decays. Those 12 leaders who went to be the spies of Israel, Kulam Anashim Rashei Alfei Yisrael Hema, they were all leaders, Nisiim. They were among the leaders of the tribes of Israel. And they themselves were the ones who led to the downfall of the sin of the spies. The story of Korach, that also in the book of Korach, if we look at who were the people in the story of Korach, who were they? They were also the Nisiim. Nisiyei Edah, Kriyei Moed, Anshe Shem. They were the elders. They were the leaders. They were the princes. People of great notoriety. It was these very leaders who were supposed to stand with Moshe who turned against Moshe. There is no leadership from among the people. In Ba'alotcha, Moshe says it clearly, I'm all by myself. I'm like a mother trying to nurse the baby. There's no one else. I have no help at all. There's a total deterioration of the leadership at every level. Pinchas turns it all around. Vayakam mitoch ha'edah. Pinchas, from now on, there is someone who cares. There's someone else who cares. There's one of the amcha, mitoch ha'edah, someone who just is coming from right out of the tribes, of the ranks, the rank and file. And he cares. He cares passionately and deeply. And therefore, this is a significant moment. It's the moment when the Jewish people take back their leadership, when the Jewish people once again become what they should be, involved in the leadership of Moshe. And this transition, which takes place here, is seen throughout the rest of the book of Bamidbar. In the war against Midian, the Nesiim, the leaders, are with him. In the question as to how to adjudicate the case between the Benot Tzlafchad, the daughters of Tzlafchad, and the tribe of Menashe, no problem. Moshe, together with the Nesiim, the leaders of the tribes, they're there to adjudicate it. They're there to figure it out. Problems with Reuven, Gad, and Chatzi Shevet Menashe, the secessionist tribes of the east bank of the Jordan, there are the Nesiim, the elders of Israel, are together, the princes, with Moshe to solve the problem. And how does the book end? The book ends on the adjudication of the case of Benot Tzlafchad, the daughters of Tzlafchad. And together, with the Nesiim, with the elders of the tribes, they solve the case, and everything is resolved. The book of Bamidbar begins with the notion that the Jewish people are to have leaders at the grassroots level. Every tribe a leader. And these are their names. They're important. The middle of the book is all about the deterioration of leadership. And the pivotal moment when it all changes from no leadership, bad leadership, negative leadership, to positive leadership. It's when Pinchas goes to the one who is the leader of Shimon. Nasi Beit Av Shimoni. This Zimri, this man who is a leader in the tribe of Shimon. And he takes a spear and he stabs him. That's the end of bad leadership. It's the arrival of a new, inspired leadership. A fulfillment of the very opening words of the book of Bamidbar. V'yitchem iyu. Moshe, you'll have with you together others who will lead you as well. Pinchas, a very pivotal figure at a pivotal moment in the story of Chumash. Now, I have among my colleagues those who would like to suggest that we find a deterioration of Moshe's leadership throughout the book of Bamidbar, and it's Pinchas who picks up the slack. I would like to argue that the rise of Pinchas does not represent the falling and failure of Moshe, but actually his greatest success and achievement. If you look at the story of Pinchas, when the Jewish people were committing these heinous crimes right in front of them, what was Moshe's reaction, Aaron's reaction? Vehema bochim petach hamoed. They were crying. They were in tears at the gate of the Ohel Moed, at the gate of the sanctuary. My colleague wants to argue that this represents the failed leadership of Moshe. He doesn't know what to do. What is he supposed to do? However, one might suggest that at that moment, yes, he cried, but he prayed, and with that prayer came the fulfillment of that prayer. Came Pinchas, who stood up, and he fulfilled the greatest dream of Moshe, that someone else aside from him would care and would lead the Jewish people in his stead. That was an important achievement for Moshe Rabbeinu. We have the same debate and the same question that comes up in Parshat Shlach. Vayiplu al panehem, and again the leaders fall on their faces. This Sforno says they didn't know what to do. But you could argue that they were waiting for someone to arise, like a Kalev or a Yoshua, to take over the reins of leadership.